Hey everybody out there in internet land, how's everybody doing? Um, I'm just sitting around bored, doing nothing, crappy day, crappy weather. It's late at night. Well, it's not even late at night. It's time change, so it seems late at night. Though if it was a few months ago, it would be sunny, and I'd probably be doing something a little bit more interesting than nothing. Anyway, just continue on with some of those stories to talk about effed up or funny stories about my life. I know compared to a lot of other people's life stories and everything else, mine might seem a little bit uninteresting and boring, but to me, they're just kind of fun and just stuff to share that I would probably share if I was sitting at the bar having a conversation with you anyway and topic came up. This is one time I had a experience with pot muffins, and speaking for myself, I don't smoke weed. I'm not against it. It's just sorry, playing with my hat. Anyway, I'm done with that. It's fine. My hat is stationary, and that's where it's staying for the rest of the video. Anyway, so yeah, sorry. My experience with weed and pot, marijuana, etc., is pretty minimal. Not because I'm against it, because I've never been against it. I've been around it my whole life. Whether it's some people in my family smoking it, or my friends, or parties I've had, or parties I've been to, been around that, other drugs and everything else. It's just never been really my thing. Mainly for the harder drugs, more fear of something happening. I don't know, kind of a pussy. I didn't actually have my first intentional drink of alcohol until I think I was 17 years old, and now I do enjoy, and I do partake. But anyway, in terms of weed and smoking weed and stuff, it's I've had asthma since I was like my late teens and stuff. So I just growing up I was never a smoker, and I just really didn't have an interest in it. I didn't have a problem being around it, and I didn't have a problem with other people doing it. I wasn't like, don't do that, it's wrong, it's bad. No, of course not. That's just not me at all. Not even close to being me. But anyway, continuing on, we were at a party, and I think it was pretty I was probably at 28, 29. I think it was about, I'm going to say 29. And up until that, I'm not saying I've never smoked weed or anything, it's just not very often. But somebody had brought to this party some muffins that were like pot muffins or whatever, weed muffins, whatever you want to call them. And I was just like, oh, fuck it, you know what? It's eating it, it's not smoking it, I should be fine. But because everyone else there, most of them were not serious potheads or anything, but smoked from time to time or smoked every day, whatever, right? So me trying to like be the big shot too, whatever. I ate one of the muffins and didn't really think too much of it. I'm just drinking my beers and whatever. And which if you mix an ice cap from Tim Hortons with rye, rum, or any kind of sweet alcohol, it is delicious. Just throwing it out there. Anyway, so I'm eating one. Now, just a little backstory really quick about the muffins. They made, I think, about 24. They were muffin size, average, muffins. And they said two of them were seriously heavier than the other, that they kind of put in there Russian roulette style. And it is possible I got one of those when I tell you the story, but at the same time, because I know my tolerance wasn't and still isn't high for weed or anything like that. So I couldn't tell you. I might have gotten one. I might not have gotten one. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm eating one. I ate one and whatever, and I have my beers. I'm not really thinking too much about it. And I almost kind of forgot about it, right? Because a bit of time had gone by, and I wasn't really feeling anything. So I'm just sitting there, and sitting with my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, and we were sitting there talking to this woman, right? Like chatting her up, having a good time, whatever. And I'm sitting there, and I realize I'm like leaning as opposed to just standing, and she's sitting in the chair, and I'm leaning, and I'm like, wow. Like, but again, I didn't make the connection. So anyway, the conversation, takes a pause. She went to use the restroom or go to the bathroom or go have a cigarette, whatever, right? So I sit down, like I'm like, oh, I gotta sit. So I'm sitting down, I'm just like, wow. And then I realize, wow, it's kicking in. I wasn't expecting this. Everyone else is having a fine time. not really a big deal. So anyway, I look, and I'm like, I gotta go outside. I gotta get some air. So we go outside in just a couple minutes, and I'm literally like, I can't even stand very well. Like I had to sit down. I could not stand under my own power. So I'm sitting down, and I'm like, I gotta go lay down. I can't even sit. Like even sitting in the chair, I was like, that's how low my tolerance is for it. So, and again, I may have gotten one of the stronger ones, but I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. So anyway, so she helps me up, and we start walking in the house. We walk through the back door and walk past where I was just sitting, and it was kind of like a longer, narrow house, and in the kitchen there was a counter on either side. So I'm walking in, and I'm literally got my hand on this counter and on this, and I'm walking myself using just the power, barely any use of my legs at this point, and I'm just kind of walking myself through this kitchen. And then after the kitchen, there's a dining room. So I managed to sort of stumble and stagger across to the dining room table, and then I'm like hand over hand walking myself across the dining room table to get to the living room. Now, from where I was staying at the end of the table, and there's a living room, and of course there's the couch in the living room. And I remember looking at the couch, and it was probably about 10 feet away, which really isn't that far. It might even be less. And I remember at this point, everything's just kind of like this, because you gotta think I was drinking too, and I am an experienced drinker. Even I was at that point. I drink a lot, like whatever. So I'm looking at this couch. And I'm thinking, and I look at her, and I'm like, wow, that couch is so far away. And I literally just launched myself off the table and did one of these, like a toddler balancing themselves just to get to one spot to the other. And that's literally what I did until I got to the couch, and I just went flop. So I'm sitting there lying on the couch. She puts my legs. So I had my beer sitting there, and at that point I kind of lost control of most of my motor skills. I couldn't even pick up my beer. And this is back, people still had VCRs and stuff, and I'm just staring at the VCR clock. And this was an afternoon party, it wasn't a nighttime party. I was actually supposed to meet a friend later on in the evening, probably around 8 or 9 o'clock. So I'm lying there, and I'm just staring at the clock and just watching it, just the time go by. I couldn't sleep, I wasn't tired. I was just had no mobility, and I was enjoying the buzz. Don't get me wrong, like the buzz was fun. It was just the fact I couldn't do anything that really sucked. So a couple hours go by, and the host of the party, his name was Matt, may he rest in peace. He passed away recently. Really, really sweet guy, really wonderful man. And he came over a couple times and checked on me, and asked if I was all right. And I was fine. I was just like, good man, it's all right. And then as it started coming out of my system, I was able to sit up, and I'm trying to drink my beer, but I was so burnt out and tired. I was just like, and my friend had called me because my friend who I was supposed to meet later on, he calls me up, and I'm on my cell phone. He's like, how's it going? I'm like, hey, you all right? Yeah. Is you good? Yeah. I think I called him about half an hour later and just said, I'm just going home. And I told him what had happened, and he laughed at me because he was a big pot smoker, and among other things. And, so he thought it was kind of funny. He was disappointed we didn't end up hanging out that night. But anyway, it was what it was, and it is what it is. But yeah, that was pretty much one of the only experiences I've had with like weed and pot and stuff. That's back when it was still illegal here in Canada, where you can smoke it freely, and it's wonderful if you smoke it. But I don't, because I can't handle it. It just puts me right out, obviously. But anyway, I just thought it was a funny little story about, just trying some muffins or whatever. And but for everyone else who likes to smoke and do edibles and everything else, have fun, keep doing it. I got no qualms with it at all. Just to remind everybody, I'm not against it. It's just not for me because I can't handle it. I wish I could, because I probably do more of that than drinking, but I can't. Anyway, Hope everyone's having a good time. Everyone's having fun, and the crappy weather seasons are coming up. So let's just get through it. And if you like the snow, great. Get on your snowmobile, get on your sleds, and your snowshoes, or just go for a walk. Whatever it is you do. This is Canada, where I'm at. So be a snowstorm tomorrow, and I could be wearing shorts the next day because that's how it is here. Anyway, I hope everybody has a good time and all the best. And until the next one, bye.